It's an uprising. It's an uprising.
From the Imperial Core to the boroughs of London to the boroughs of New York, across the Five Eyes, the Nine Eyes, the 14 Eyes, to the suburbs of Beirut, of Tehran, to the airwaves over Tel Aviv, to the Bekaa Valley, the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, to the beaches of Gaza, the towns, the cities, and the villages of the occupied West Bank, to the snow-top mountains of Syria's occupied Golan Heights, to all the journalists under fire, the reporters being arrested and roughed up by Big Brother's henchmen, to the actionists jailed in the occupation's dungeons, to all the free people around the world who embody true peace and true prosperity, to all the cogs of the machine, even those on the front lines of the protests or those GIs that are posted on the outer rims of the empire. May your conscience hopefully be elevated and your eyes open. This is day 640 of the genocide in Gaza. It's day 6 of the Israeli aggression on Iran. We'll start with a recap of what's...
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Green live stream. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Edie Arndell. Wish we had some better news for you today.
Oh, I think I love that intro. I think it's more positive than we've been in a long time. And I think that's why I included that. I know it's a little weird to see an intro from someone else on your show, but I think that's kind of more the mood. I mean, I think that yes, there is the overlying, nuclear bomb from Trump worry, but overall, I just think that people are at least seeing some hope just with Iran's response. And so I would highly recommend everyone watch that video. That's Richard Medhurst. Even a part of the way through, he says, I did this because nobody else has done it. So he covers the first 6 days. And so it's the back and forth of what Israel bombed in Iran and then what Iran bombed back in Israel. And he made some really interesting points. I mean, the Israel seems, again, which is kind of their take, it's kind of more like a personal attacks, like they go after specific people or like, whereas Iran, the things they hit were like unbelievable. They hit Mossad, they hit a military installation that works on internet security, and I mean they did really interesting hits. And so and of course the huge oil refinery, which the US partly owns, by the way.
I agree. And I'm the one responsible for creating our titles, but then Scott and I kind of, we have to agree on what it is.
Glee was brilliant. I mean,
Iran has a right to defend itself. Iran did not attack anyone.
Right.
Hey, Kahlil, thanks for coming.
Hey, Kahlil.
And Israel decided that they didn't want a deal made. And I'm sorry, Trump was not, doing diplomacy in good faith. He was lying to them. I don't know why anybody's surprised by that. Negotiations were set to continue on Sunday, and the leader of Iran was ready to go.
I've heard a lot of analysis of that, and people were also criticizing Iran for saying, how could you be so naive? And there was some commentary out of Iran that said, they're playing the game like everybody else does. They were fully aware, as they did, negotiations, that the level to trust the US during negotiations is like nil.
Well, yeah, I know. Well, it's hope for the best and plan for the worst. I mean, that is the way I live my life, right? I try to be hopeful for the best and try to entertain that people have good intentions. And then when they prove that they don't, then I will plan for the worst. I mean, I already have a plan.
Iran planned for the worst. There's no doubt they were ready with this. And, it's another thing that, we're not used to the type of warfare that's going on. I mean, it is frightening and it's completely futuristic. the future is here now with the drone strikes. I mean, that they go to specific places and drop the, I mean, it's just the most frightening stuff on both sides. There's no, it's unbelievable how.
Good evening.
And the other thing that was really became very obvious is that the Iron Dome plus the others, there's a couple of other systems that they use have failed. And maybe they started at the beginning to work. And, the other thing, the Iron Dome, again, it's the linguistics. And, when you don't pay attention, you're like, oh, do they have a glass dome over the place? And it's just that missiles.
Glass house, that sounds like a thing.
It's just that the missiles are detecting, and a missile comes off, and this missile goes and is
that's their defense system, which, by the way, we fund.
Right.
With our tax dollars. So we are paying to protect Israel from Iran.
Yes.
And Trump continuously says we, more like a paper dome. Good. Kahlil. And hi, Alexandria. Thanks for coming. I was just going to say that is the most sophisticated defense system in the world. And Iran is still hitting their targets.
Yep.
So, and they haven't even pulled out the big guns yet.
Right.
And if you've ever seen that map, which I forgot to grab it again, I should find it. We have military bases surrounding Iran. We wouldn't tolerate that if that was our country. If that was happening in Canada and Mexico and Cuba and everywhere, I mean, we wouldn't tolerate it. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a new person.
Okay.
Hello, Kenneth. Thanks for joining us. Netanyahu is a walking, talking reptilian demon in human form.
There is an interesting. I don't think we included it. I think it's in Richard Medhurst.
$100 million a day. If you want to play some more of that, if you know where that is, that's fine. Or we can move on to Sabby, which we love Sabby.
I was just going to say in Richard's video, and again, I highly recommend everyone watching it because he does it day to day. He does include this really interesting video where they catch Netanyahu coming out and they lift the screen so he can walk out and see the demolition. And again, it just reminds you of Hitler. It just puts you right back into those days where like Hitler's looking over the destruction. And it's just because he is our modern Hitler. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I remember what I wanted to say. Well, our bases that are surrounding Iran do not have that same protection. And before Israel attacked Iran, Trump pulled out all non-essentials from all of the bases in that area.
Yeah.
So if we bomb them, those bases are gone. They are. So, did you want to go ahead and start the Sabby thing?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, it's 8:07. We are not going to win this war.
Yeah.
Sabby Sabs.
What you think about this? I honestly think like Israel is somewhat afraid.
They're scared to death. That's why they shut the borders. Right now Israel has closed its borders. Nobody's allowed to leave Israel. Why? Because if they open the borders, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Israelis would flee. Israel's becoming a place where you can't live. It's uninhabitable. The ability to sustain viable life is rapidly being squeezed out of Israel as the Iranians target power plants. If they hit the Ashdod power generation facility, Tel Aviv goes dark. They blew up refineries. There's going to be, a shortage of fuel. The economy's non-functioning. And let's talk about this hospital that was hit. First of all, the hospital wasn't hit. The building next to the hospital was hit, which happens to be a command and control center for Israeli intelligence. Now ask yourself, why did the Israelis put a command and control center for intelligence next to a hospital? I mean, aren't these the same Israelis that blew up every freaking hospital in Gaza under the pretext that Hamas had a command and control center under? You remember that, Al Shifra? Command and control wasn't there, didn't exist, but
they're using the people as human shields.
Yeah.
Pause.
So
there you go.
Yes, they're using the people as human shields, without a doubt.
You can leave it up. We're going to do more.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
they're playing the victim still. It's so ludicrous,
Well,
when they are the aggressor, they are the monster in the room,
It's just interesting that they just have their mindset to play that propaganda game where they just will deny everything that's so completely obvious, but they don't sway. They just keep that the propaganda of lies going. They don't flinch. They're horrified by the bombing of a hospital where no one died. It was so windows got blown out. A lot of windows got blown out, but yeah.
Well, and people. Scott Ritter has his detractors, but he's right. He's right on Savvy's show. He did a wonderful analysis. But when you put a hospital in service of the military, it is no longer protected. This the excuse they used to attack. The tunnels. Yeah, you had to bomb hospitals. Well, in Gaza, they went in and shot surgeons while they were operating, and then they shot patients.
They tortured them too, by the way. They kidnapped and tortured the doctors.
Doctors.
Yes.
Yeah. People that their mission is to save life.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, it's 12:46. If you got that ready.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in there, 12:46-ish.
We're Phoenix
Oh,
Energy,
sorry.
a
Oh,
family-owned oil company focused on unleashing American oil from
how
North
convenient.
Dakota and
I
Montana.
know. No,
Oil company.
And Israel's already losing. 2 weeks from now, Israel will have lost.
Colonel Douglas McGregor was on Judge Napolitano's show earlier, and he said that 1/3 of Israel has been bombed. Like I think people need to remember, like
Tel
Israel
Aviv.
isn't
Pause
huge.
for a second.
Yeah.
I think you messed
Iran
up.
is huge.
No. I think she got that wrong. It was Tel Aviv. And I'm not sure if that's even correct, but it is true that they do not allow videotape to go out, that they will arrest. They have said they will arrest people who send anything out recording. Now, of course, recordings are leaking out, but
Of course.
yeah, but no. I think she meant Tel Aviv.
I love how you caught her there. She's like, no.
Yeah.
Actually, I was wrong. The note we had was to do 9:26 to 12:46, but I just suggest everybody watch this clip, and it's in the show notes on YouTube and Facebook if you want to go check it out. It is worth your watch. Very interesting conversation.
Do it if you want.
I mean, well, yeah, I had it 8:07 to 9:26, and then just continuing. So that was my fault.
Oh,
go
okay.
back.
Yeah, we can go.
Okay. I thought it was worth watching. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Bombing a hospital is a war crime. Well, no kidding, pal. The hypocrisy of the Israelis right now. The Iranians carried out a precision strike against a military intelligence headquarters. And let me make this clear too. The hospital loses all protection. Read the damn international humanitarian law. The hospital loses all protection the moment it allows itself to become a cover for military action. It's no longer a protected site. Unlike the hospitals in Gaza, which weren't covers for military action, where the Israelis, gosh, what did they do? Snipers shot surgeons while they were doing surgery. Assassination teams came into the operating ready rooms and assassinated patients after surgery was done on them. That's what the Israelis do with hospitals. All the Iranians did is blow up an intelligence command post, which means there was no hospital next to it, because you can't have a hospital next to it, or else if the Israelis are claiming that, then they are guilty of a violation of international humanitarian law, because they're using a hospital as a shield for military activity. So let's be quite clear here. Iran did not attack a hospital. Iran attacked an Israeli intelligence command post. The Israelis put that next to a hospital, which means there is no hospital there under international humanitarian law. So let's be very clear what's going on here. But the media is not going to spin it properly, because the media, his job is to make Israel look as good as possible. But you can't make Israel look good right now. That's the problem. There's no front right now where Israel's looking good. Israel's getting beat, blown up. I mean, this is embarrassing for Israel, and it's only going to get worse. The Iranians have been planning this campaign for a long time. They didn't want this war. They weren't ready for this war in terms of the immediacy. It was a surprise attack. that gave them a bloody nose and a black eye, and they're missing a tooth. I mean, the Israelis hit them hard. There's no doubt about that. But the Iranians have gotten up, dusted themselves off, and now they're implementing a campaign. And this is what should scare all the little pro-Israeli people out there. This is a campaign that seeks to strategically defeat Israel, and they're achieving their objectives. And this is why Trump is in absolute panic state. Seymour Hersh claims that they're going to attack this weekend. The Donald Trump's 2-week thing. Why would anybody believe Trump? I mean, he said he wanted negotiations on Sunday, and then he greenlit an Israeli surprise attack on Friday. So I don't think the Iranians are buying into any of this. They anticipate America to do the worst, but the Iranians are engaged in a campaign that if it goes on for another 2 weeks, Sammy, we're only 1 week into this war, and Israel's already losing. 2 weeks from now, Israel will have lost.
Pause.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to put up, because since he mentioned the Seymour Hersh thing.
Sure.
Michael Tracy is talking about this. Seymour Hersh reports that heavy American bombing will begin this weekend. The White House has signed off on an all-out bombing campaign in Iran.
And if folks don't know, Seymour Hersh is a journalist who has been around. He has broken some really important stories going all the way back to Vietnam. And he broke the story of the U.S. involvement of the bombing of Nord Stream 2 that Biden, I think, did in conjunction with Norway. I can't remember the country. It was a Scandinavian country. But if Seymour Hersh posts something, people pay attention because he has context. He has real insider information that he is, his contacts have been there through the years. So
yeah,
that's the scary one.
So y'all, I mean, they cover it really well. Let's just keep going. Now you go to 1511 through 1737.
Okay.
You can fast forward to there.
1511, you said?
Yeah. So I'm going to put up Joe's.
Yeah, go for it.
Since when does international humanitarian law matter? Actions speak louder than words.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
we ran
Oh my God. I'm sorry. That's the only thing. I don't pay for YouTube. So unfortunately you have to.
Yeah, you're getting way more commercials than I got.
Price of Mint Unlimited in half, and it was so popular.
We do not.
It's like a secret
little kerfuffle. Let's see, Tuesday night, my good friend Gerald Salante, who I love to death, hosted a roundtable with Garland Nixon, Joe Lauria, Dennis Kucinich, and myself, and we were talking about the American people and such. And I'm not cutting the American people any slack. Both Dennis Kucinich and Gerald Salante were trying to say, don't blame the American people. They're hardworking people and they just don't have time. I said, bull. They got all the time in the world. They play fantasy football. They, that requires a lot of statistics. They do a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it takes time to do fantasy football right. It takes time to do any fantasy sport. They follow Taylor Swift. Everybody has their life. Americans work hard. I get it. They do. I know. Trust me. I'm putting in 12-hour days. But we also live our life, which means we make priorities. And all I'm saying is that the American people have not prioritized the lives of American service members or human beings around the world. That we will put fantasy football ahead of the life of a Marine. We have. We will put fantasy football ahead of the lives of innocent Gazan children. We have. We the American people, and I put a lot of responsibility on us because we claim to be a constitutional republic with a certain democratic element to it, meaning that we go to the polls and we vote people in to represent us. We're responsible for the composition of our Congress. We're responsible for the occupancy of the White House. We're responsible for a whole bunch of stuff through the power of the vote. And we have voted in elements that are taking us down the path to war, and we seem to be sleepwalking about it. I mean, my God, you just had the president say straight up that we're at war with Iran. You heard what he said. We. Why aren't the American people go, whoa, time out? The Constitution, you remember that document. It gets a little inconvenient at times because, gosh, it actually matters. The Constitution says that Congress, only Congress, can take us to war. They haven't done that.
Yeah, they haven't done it.
There's
Yeah. No, he's, makes a very strong point that there's a lot of criticism to be made about the
American
US
people. They're out to lunch, man. Like this is going on right in front of their faces, and they are so consumed with, things that don't matter. Stop watching the sports games, y'all. Pay attention. This is going to come and affect you and your family in short order should this continue. And that part about, I'm sitting here like, the American people value their fantasy football over the life of a Marine. So all you people with your support the troops sticker, they're talking about you because you really don't. That sticker doesn't make you supportive. You have to actually do your due diligence. You have to know what's going on and know the situation that our government is trying to put our loved ones into. I'm just furious when I hear that.
No, I mean it is a problem. I was having a whole lot of deja vu from the Iraq invasion because just the build up to it, and I know that's where we're headed. And the thing is, again, the mainstream press is fully on board because they're paid to be fully on board, and they're captured. We don't really have a press. I mean, again, I just scream at I know I focus most of my anger on liberals, but I just watched MSNBC the other morning, and they had a guy just talking about, the minutia details of what regime change in Iran would mean and how it could be so helpful. And this is on fucking MSNBC. You liberals are like listening to this shit. I can't even. Again, coming from this egocentric white supremacist, sorry to use the term all the time, but that's how it plays. I mean, these people are so effing arrogant that they think that they control another country's government and leadership.
We have no right to do that.
It is just, and this is MSNBC, liberal home of, it's just gross.
Lots and lots of bullshit.
I mean, it's honestly, it was really interesting. Just a little side thing that Richard in his coverage, there's a Fox News reporter over there. And he was saying he was shocked because the Fox News reporter who's, out over in, I can't remember if he was actually sitting in Israel or in Iran, was pretty honest about things. He wasn't throwing the propaganda. So he did say that this started with Israel attacking Iran. He made sure that the details were accurate for this particular situation. But it's horrendous the way both the Fox News and the CNN, MSNBC world are set up to pretend that they're arguing at each other. But in reality, the things that matter for them and for their, overlords, the war is what matters.
I, for one, welcome our new overlords.
Yeah.
From Simpsons, remember?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. There you go.
So I went to the Carbondale Juneteenth celebration yesterday. Me and the chair of my local chapter, Josh, if you're watching, hey, went there. It was really, really hot. We went there representing both Shawnee Green Party and Illinois Green Party and Green Party in general. The Democrats also had a table, but I noticed something. Not too many people came to the Democrats table. And if I did see people, they were older people. Not there's anything wrong with being an older person, but they still are remembering what they think the Democratic Party is. The young people came to our table and they knew. They knew that Democrats are not going to save us. What does Butch say? Team Blue ain't going to save you.
Right.
They are complicit. They are enablers. Hillary made sure Trump got elected. Well, and then she lost. So it's her fault. It's the Democratic Party's fault that we are in this mess.
And the Democratic Party is going full on onslaught to try to stop the guy who's running for mayor of New York City, Zoran. And, again, it's too bad that people still think that they're going to reform the Democratic Party from within. I mean, I don't know if they're delusional or if they're paid, but, there is no future there. And we'll see if Zoran, let's see, if he doesn't win that, will he go independent? I doubt it. I think he's still going to play the Democrat game.
You have to sign on the dotted line when you run in the Democratic primary, and that's why we don't do that here.
Well,
the
I'm
only thing
saying,
you have to say you're going to do here is you will not take corporate and super PAC money, and you will represent green values. That's it.
but what I'm saying is, would he leave the Democratic Party? And after the assault,
He's contractually obligated once he ran as a Dem, isn't
no. You can always leave the Democratic Party. If he stays in, then maybe he would have to endorse. But I don't know if that endorsement rule is on that level. I mean, I'm not an expert.
I doubt he's got that kind of.
But my question, but that would be the issue. Will he leave the Democratic Party after they've screwed him?
No,
I doubt it.
I don't.
Now that would show the character of a person,
Yeah.
a leader.
If he was serious, he would be outside of the Democratic Party.
Right.
And you're talking about people still believe in this reform myth. Well, we've been trying that hard for 10 years, and we've been trying it, somewhat for decades.
Oh God, of course.
But,
decades.
But the reform versus revolution aspect, we need a revolution. It can be peaceful. But they try to reform slavery. We should just be nicer to them. We shouldn't take their kids away. We shouldn't rape them. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do that. But slavery's wrong. It needs to be abolished.
And one thing I've wanted to say is that, one thing I don't like about the left is when they complain about, electoral politics. We need revolution. I mean, that's all well and good, but if you're going to plan revolution, get offline, right? You're not going to do it here. And so if you're serious, then get offline, organize with people.
Organize inside your community, create mutual aid, know where you're going to get your food supply for one.
I'm talking about revolution.
Oh, revolution.
But I'm saying you can't do that online. They'll be at your door the next morning.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So they can talk a big game when they're online, but get real, folks.
Yeah.
Get real.
My point was
here to stay.
Yeah. The point I was trying to make is reform doesn't work because we're past that point now. We're way past that point.
Sure. I'm just addressing.
I'm for a general strike. I'm on strike. I got rid of everything I possibly could.
Yeah.
Everything I possibly could.
Yeah. If you want to talk more about that, go ahead. Cause I think it's a great idea. I think it's great.
I just canceled. I've been slowly doing this over time because of financial issues, but I just started canceling stuff that's not necessary. I canceled my Amazon account, because I didn't want the temptation to be there, and I don't agree with their politics. So, I don't go to Starbucks, and I love coffee, but Starbucks coffee is bad anyway.
Really? Oh,
in my opinion, I think it's terrible.
I don't go, but I miss it. But no, I was just gonna say
I go to local coffee shops, or I make my own.
Yeah, of course. No. I was just gonna say the opposite is, unfortunately, I feel like I need to buy a YouTube subscription so that we don't get stuck with these stupid commercials. Isn't that terrible? I have to buy into the system to put out a good show, unless someone has advice. But
maybe we could take it down and wait for the commercial to pass and then put it back up. I don't know what else.
That's how. No, when you skip ahead, that's how it works. When you skip ahead, it's going to throw a commercial at you. So. And
your commercial is way different than mine. I always get the Kate Spade bag because I'm a girl.
See. Oh, interesting. See, right. It's. I wonder if it's location and
who you are.
Past hits. Yeah.
They figured that since I'm a girl, I'm going to go buy a purse.
And so why did they send me oil company crap and that stupid phone guy? No. I'm sorry, we're getting way off topic. Okay.
Not really. Okay. It is corporate America that is in our face constantly. Right. And I swear, the first politician that could stop the spam calls would get elected by in every
but
state.
They won't because they're paid off.
I know. My God. I mean, I get a couple every day, and then sometimes it'll go You know,
So people are
I've turned off my location services on my phone.
okay.
You know, I'm trying to. I mean, sometimes I need to like figure out how to get somewhere, and I'll turn it on for a little bit, but then I turn it right back off because they don't need to know where I am. And if I go to a protest, I don't take my phone,
Oh, good for you.
and I
Oh,
also
God,
shut it
can't.
off.
Well, I know you're supposed to have a burner phone. I know that. I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, I
No,
haven't
but
got a burner phone because that means I have to buy something.
Well, but people are, I mean, I've seen the memes going around, and it's very true that, unfortunately, when Tucker Carlson and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey are giving the most anti-war takes, and the Democrats, I mean, I'm not saying they're not doing anything, but we're getting a stronger voice from these folks than the Democrats. Tells you again, I mean, the level to which AIPAC controls the Democrats along with the Republicans.
Yeah,
But
and that talks to the split in his base. People think it might be his death now, that he's going to lose big in 2026. Now, I hope that's a green surge. That's what we're working really hard for here at the Green Party. And we hope all of you watching join us. But I the next clip, 1905 to 2127.
oh, I'm sorry, I already got rid of. I thought we were past.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'll summarize because I watched it. So Scott was saying, the grocery store where you go get your food, all that food comes in by truck. What does it take to get the food there? Diesel. Should we bomb Iran? Diesel's going to stop.
Yeah, we did kind of cover that Wednesday, the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah.
If I'm pronouncing that right, I'm probably not. That they're talking about they might cut that off, and wow, that will send the oil and gas.
Get ready for $25, $30 a gallon gasoline.
It's going to be chaos in that world. Yeah, they're playing with game that they don't fully understand. They don't understand the implications of what they're doing.
Well, I'm not sure if they don't understand or they just don't care. I think
well, they're psychopaths. Yeah. Right. They are.
Yeah, it's that ego, that bravado. We're the greatest. We can do whatever the hell we want. I don't care who it hurts, even though it's going to hurt the American people. Absolutely.
Oh, well, that's the last group they care about. Really.
Yeah. We can move on. So, Trump, Tulsi Gabbard was responding to Trump's threatening nuclear attack.
Okay.
You want to play the Tulsi Gabbard one?
Yeah, and just so people know, we're gonna do the full story on Tulsi.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is the beginning
this
of
was
the story.
yeah. Okay, let's see here. Sorry.
Have any comments? That's okay. Hang on, we got comments, but
Go for it.
Brian's here. What's up, Brian? Reforming of America will take lifetimes, but the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
There you go. But we got to make those steps really fast, okay?
Well, I've been on this journey a long time, so.
Yeah.
And Alexandria says, preach it, Scott.
Yeah. I have a mess over here.
No,
okay.
it's disorienting. Yeah.
That was one thing that gets me about, he said we're the, protests. I mean, people are completely overwhelmed by protests. I don't know what's like it where you live. Well, Alexandria knows because we were at a protest together yesterday. I mean, there's a protest that I'm going to miss today because I got a show later. But I mean, there are protests every single day on different subjects. It's things are exploding, and that's the thing. So much really, really, really horrific things are going on all at the same time. I mean, the ICE situation is horrific, and now we got World War III on our, bootsteps, and it's just you cannot keep up with everything. It's so difficult.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I'm ready.
Okay.
Hiroshima had a yield of just 15 kilotons of TNT, whereas today's nuclear warheads range in size from 100 kilotons to over 1 megaton. A single nuclear weapon today could kill millions in just minutes. Just one of these nuclear bombs would vaporize everything at its core: people, buildings, life itself. The The shockwave would crush structures miles away, killing and maiming countless people. And then comes the fallout. Radioactive poison spreading through the air, water, and soil, condemning survivors to agonizing deaths or lifelong suffering. A nuclear winter could follow, with smoke and ash completely blocking the sun, plunging the world into darkness and cold, killing crops and starving billions. Acid rain would scar the earth, wiping out entire ecosystems. This isn't some made-up science fiction story. This is the reality of what's at stake, what we are facing now. Because as we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before, political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families that regular people won't have access to. So it's up to us, the people, to speak up and demand an end to this madness. We must reject this path to nuclear war and work toward a world where no one has to live in fear of a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah.
The bomb that was...
And thank you, Edie, for having us play that, because that really sets up our next...
Yeah, I went. So for people that don't know, Trump got very, very mad at her about that, and basically said she don't know what she's talking about, and she works for him. What is her position again? She's the Secretary of State.
No. Oh my God! Somebody help us in the.
Anyway, chat. She's in his administration. That's her job to negotiate with countries, as far as I know, and she's saying, this is the reality of what nuclear war would be. But then Caitlin Johnstone, which we love here, if you've been here for a minute, right? Rather than push back on the president's crude dismissal, Gabbard took to social media to tell everyone that Trump is actually right about Iran, and that everyone who thought she said Iran isn't seeking a nuclear weapon is imagining things.
Let's play it here. Do I have it up now or no? I didn't share it. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
And this is that audio stuff that, Caitlin writes it and then it goes through the AI.
Tulsi Gabbard is a warmongering asshole. President Trump has twice thrown his intelligence chief, Tulsi Gabbard, under the bus, repeatedly telling the press that the National Intelligence Director was wrong when she told Congress in March that the American spy network does not believe Iran is attempting to obtain a nuclear weapon. To be clear, when Gabbard made this statement, she was not voicing her personal opinion. She was repeating verbatim the findings laid out in the 2025 Threat Assessment of the Intelligence Agencies of the United States, which said, "We continue to assess Iran is not building a nuclear weapon, and that Khamenei has not reauthorized the nuclear weapons program he suspended in 2003, though pressure has probably built on him to do so." Despite this, Trump has been publicly expressing disdain for his intelligence director, flatly saying she's wrong when asked about Gabbard's testimony on Friday, and saying, "I don't care what she says," when asked the same question about Gabbard's statement earlier this week. Rather than push back on the president's crude dismissal, Gabbard took to social media to tell everyone that Trump is actually right about Iran, and that everyone who thought she said Iran isn't seeking a nuclear weapon is imagining things. Here's what she said. "The dishonest media is intentionally taking my testimony out of context and spreading fake news as a way to manufacture division. America has intelligence that Iran is at the point that it can produce a nuclear weapon within weeks to months if they decide to finalize the assembly. President Trump has been clear that can't happen, and I agree. My full testimony below," end quote. A recent report from CNN says that according to U.S. intelligence sources, Iran is not weeks to months from a nuclear weapon, but years, reporting that Tehran is, quote, "up to 3 years away from being able to produce and deliver one to a target of its choosing." This kind of post-truth society behavior, where one tells people they're not seeing what's directly in front of their eyes, is the kind of thing you only expect from Donald Trump and his most obsequious bootlickers. And what we are witnessing here is Tulsi Gabbard getting down on her knees and putting tongue to leather. Tulsi Gabbard is a warmongering asshole and a liar. She is helping to deceive the world into yet another horrible Middle Eastern war. And if she and her fellow warmongers succeed, her words will go down in history as among the most depraved lies ever told.
Yeah. I just, again, thank you for having us show that film. Can you imagine that a person makes that film and then completely retracts everything where the subject is the annihilation of humans?
Yeah.
The complete destruction of the human race is the subject matter, and this person just turns and completely does the opposite of what she had said.
I love that.
And again, it kind of makes me to come back to the Green Party. I mean, I think that if someone were in her position who was in the Green Party and hadn't spent their lives doing these career moves to get, where they can, that I would say a Green Party person under pressure would probably spill the beans, fly somewhere like at Snowden or something, and instead of playing this game, why do these people just completely betray any of the principles that people thought they had?
We got some comments here I feel like we should talk about. So I'll start with the last one first. Alexandria, it really is embarrassing for Tulsi to be put down by the man that hired her and unironically go along with him afterwards. No sense of truth or dignity. And for those that don't remember Tulsi, she was it 2016?
Yeah.
She was vice chair of the DNC, and she left to support the Bernie Sanders campaign. And we all thought, well, maybe she's got some, chutzpah or, some strength in her. But I firmly believe now she was just an opportunist. She thought the chance to get VP was over here. She just wanted a job, just like RFK.
Good point. Right. What seemed as principles was still just a gamble with a strategy on career. Good point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's what they all are, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. People, these careerists that join the Democratic or Republican Party, they are careerists. That's why they're there, folks.
And they're not there to serve. They are there to get rich.
That is an AI voice. I'm pretty confident. Yes. Why? I
don't know. I thought it was her husband, but it might be AI.
Oh, no, I think it's AI because I think she's not happy with her voice or something. There's something where she decided to do it in this method. But yeah, all those things can't come out with that same voice, which I'm pretty confident it's an AI one.
I like it, though. It gives it
it's a little creepy. I don't know.
Gives it some meanness. Well, and it gives it a dystopian feel, which I think is perfect because that's the mood she was going for.
Good point. But yeah, AI. Yep.
One more comment. Joe Harrington's in the house. What's up, Joe? Back to differ. Cuban Missile Crisis was when we were a blink of an eye from nuclear war.
Yeah. Well, certainly people have been bringing that one up. And yeah, right. I mean, right. Wasn't there like a button that was about to be pushed? And yeah. So Joe, you make a good point, but it's just, again, I just feel like I'm feeling the deja vu of Iraq. Although, true. In that one, we just started bombing. It was not a nuclear bomb. Yeah. So good point. Good point, Joe.
Yeah. And we also got to consider when that happened. That's been almost 60 years ago, right? 50, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
They don't have to be in Cuba to get us now. They don't have to be.
Yeah.
So just saying. Intelligence, my ass. She's not showing her intelligence. I love that comment about getting on her hands and knees and putting tongue to leather. I'm like, super graphic, but makes it.
That's Caitlin.
I love Caitlin.
Yeah, but
So what do we got next? Sorry, got carried away with that one.
Well, I think it's interesting. Again, there's just this incredible privilege that comes out of Israeli society that they can commit a genocide and then be all just, oh, how dare they touch us in any way?
Yeah.
And so, it sounds like the Israeli people are not prepared for this stuff and in panic mode.
Not at all.
And Richard Medhurst was talking about how they like they go into the bomb shelters and then shut the doors so that like the Filipino folks who are in the area that are workers for them, you know,
Filipino, or you mean Palestinian?
No, I think Filipinos. I
Wow.
think that's what he said. I'm not exactly sure.
What a bunch of racists.
Yeah, but they even do it to other Israelis, that they're just shutting the door, that, you know. And so anyway, there's panic. They're in full panic mode. Yeah. And so this
well, I was going to say our next segment we had was talking about the Nimitz going.
Oh, and put that up. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. That was my part to do. Flash alert. USS Nimitz expect to be attacked as you near Middle East, not by Iran, but by Israel with a false flag attack, blaming Iran. Honor your oath to the Constitution. Do not cover it up, as the U.S. Navy did when Israel attacked the USS Liberty. Y'all go look that up.
And it's also important, again, the source. So this is Ray McGovern. He has a background in the CIA, I'm pretty sure, right? He's had government involvement. I think it was even CIA. So he knows what he's talking about. He's got some history.
He's not still there. This is not.
Yeah, right. No, years ago. No. I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear. But his history is, he's got experience in this realm. So that's why the tweet's important.
If you see a Bix, I don't know what a Bix is. Brian, you're always throwing stuff at me that I don't know what you're talking about. But we'll keep trying.
Unfortunately, the stupid autocorrect, you'll write something correct and then it'll change it and make it incorrect. I mean, it drives me nuts. And the words that it comes up with are so bizarre. It's like,
at this point, it's more of a hindrance than it is a help.
Oh, it absolutely is. I don't know how to turn it off. I'm not.
Yeah, I wish I did, because I'd rather just write my own stuff. I have to actually stop the word I'm writing. Yes, this is what I meant to say.
I know, right? Where it comes up with something and then you got to hit the X and not do. Oh my God. You should complain.
So you want to bring up the next one? So Netanyahu's son was attacked in Tehran by settlers, I believe.
Well, this was, I think, in a bomb shelter. And they just I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
Hang on. We got another comment while you get that ready.
Yeah.
Brian, X on the flight deck, and all the planes have been moved away. Okay. So military lingo. I don't. And thanks for the clarification. We always appreciate our audience because they're super smart.
All right. So this is very low quality. And I don't think I'm going to try.
Can you make it bigger? There's a little.
I could try.
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't know what the sound's going to be.
المشهد الذي تشاهدونه أمامكم هو فعلا صادم بكل المقاييس. فوفقا لمصادر إسرائيلية فإن هذا الفيديو التقط من داخل أحد أكثر الملاجئ تحصينا في البلاد.
So this is not an bomb shelter. I was incorrect. But this is folks going after the family of Netanyahu. I mean, people are in panic mode. And again, they're not they just, the arrogance of the government and the people who support that government that think that they're just going to go and bomb Iran and not have any, blowback. And again, it's because they're ignorance. They haven't, like I have said before, that we watch YouTube videos and we know more about Iran's military capability than they must, because we knew what Iran has. And they are showing it. And, they have been, it's been 6 days. No, I guess it's day 7 now. And they have been shooting out their old missiles. And now they just started a hypersonic yesterday. So it's only going to get worse for Tel Aviv and all of Israel in the future, because they were throwing out the old stuff. And look at the destruction they did in those 6 days.
Yeah, this is just a taste of what they're able to do.
I mean,
it's all good, Brian, and thanks for the input. So and here is why. The next part was about the scale of the wreckage on Patrice Lumumba Street in Tehran.
Okay, so
from the
this one,
Israeli strike.
this one is really a side. It's a kind of an interesting take. Again, just to get a little taste of Iran and how different of a country it is. So this is just showing a video of the destruction on Patrice Lumumba Street.
Can you talk about who that is? Patrice Lumumba? Didn't you say that was like a revolutionary?
But we didn't have to show that video. It's just that I wanted to just kind of make a point about a country that has a street called Patrice Lumumba. So let's just say America won't do that, okay? So Patrice Lumumba was the leader of Congo in the 60s, who the CIA assassinated, as like they want to do to Ibrahim Traore of I'm forgetting that country right now, but he's an African leader. Burkina Faso, thank you. And so a CIA assassinated leader of Africa gets a street named in Tehran, in Iran. So again, I think it gives a good context that these countries that are unfortunately the constant victims of U.S. Imperialism and empire, they understand those types of histories and recognize the importance of it. Mm-hmm. So again, it was just, that was pointed out that in Tehran they have a.
You can play it if you feel that it's.
Oh, I thought I did.
Oh.
No, that's okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. It didn't go up?
No, it didn't go up.
Okay.
Do you still have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, it's just, actually, one of the other issues that I kind of wanted to mention was just how difficult it is now to know what's accurate and what's like AI generated, especially with the videos being censored in Israel, and also just the love of putting out crazy AI crap that people love to do. So, again, I think I'd recommend Richard Medhurst's video. He took a long time to put that together, and it sounds like it's just a part one. But he goes through showing both sides the destruction. And again, I mean, this is a full-out war, folks. This is, we are in day 6 of the war. And will it become World War III? Unfortunately, that is a distinct possibility.
Russia offered help, and Iran is saying no so far.
Yeah, people, right. I think Putin was interviewed, and he's like, his response was like, we're kind of busy right now.
Hang on, I'll get back to you.
But his point was, he even said, we're fighting the same folks. Hello. I mean, is he fighting Ukraine? Well, he's really fighting the U.S. Is he fighting Israel? Are they fighting Israel? Well, they're fighting the U.S. I mean, we supply the whole thing. I mean,
yeah.
Israel would stop.
We spent most of the hour just on that part. It's so important.
Yeah.
But the second part of my title was World War Glee. Who is like down to just blow stuff up and kill people? So I'll bring up this. This is the Democratic Party's VP pick that everybody was so in love with.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Mr. Tim Walz.
So you can go ahead and read it.
Okay. So I don't. Europe Lovely posted this. Someone should compile a list of everyone who swooned over this man's immutable fatherly charm, so we can know who to ignore forever.
Right.
Tim Walz says Iran and their proxies are the ones causing disruptions throughout the region, and calls for consequences against Iran in the form of a preemptive strike. In other words, attacking people that don't attack us. That's how we got into Iraq.
Right.
And they're doing it again. And Tulsi Gabbard I'm having flashbacks of Colin Powell. He went to the UN and sold the Iraq War.
Exactly.
Oh, look right here. They got weapons of mass destruction. It's a fake out, y'all.
Yeah, and this is from October 2024, and it's just the point is made that the Democrats at the top, they are absolutely for this. I mean, there is I should have included it. There was the meme went around that Kamala Harris had said Iran is our number one enemy. She said that during the campaign season. So these folks, it would be exactly the same. If it was a Democrat at the top, it would be exactly the same.
Yep.
And so, I mean,
they would just be saying nicer words to you.
Well,
maybe trying to spin it a little better, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
But in reality, they're going to do the same shit.
Yes. That is true.
Yeah. And the real enemy, well, we'll get to that a little later. The real enemy in our country is the Israeli influence and our government just latching on to all that cash. And it's kind of a cycle, the way I understand it. Like, we give them money, they filter it, they come back here and influence the American public. And it's just like,
Yep.
So really it's our government initiating the whole thing.
Yep.
In my opinion. But yeah, here, let me take that down. Oh man.
And so, we called part of it World War Glee. So Nick Cruz of Revolutionary Blackout, he did a little tweet, and he said it's his biggest tweet ever. Yeah. And so this is just the tweet, and it said, "Oh, I need to get the context. I'm sorry."
Oh, okay.
Can you let's see.
Iran really thought
Iran
realizing mad at them.
Iran, this is from Nick. Iran realizing the entire world has no problem with them bombing Israel. So this was his little silly tweet. So that and that is
we're not in trouble.
That is Nick Cruz's most successful tweet ever. So that's why we included it. It was just kind of, I don't know. I highly recommend folks go and check out Nick Cruz
wait.
At Revolutionary Blackout Network. But yeah, that little bit of humor, courtesy of Nick Cruz.
He did that 2 days ago. If I'm reading this right, it says 13 million views.
Okay.
59,000 retweets or whatever you call it now. 605,000 likes. 25,000 bookmarks.
And unfortunately,
and he commented, he says, Iran really thought we was going to be mad at them. I'm just laughing.
And unfortunately, Edie and I do not know the reference. We don't know who that is. That from some film. So again, please, folks in the chat, let us know, what is that from?
I don't know, but I love it. I feel like I almost recognize the actor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's famous. He is famous. Yeah. I just, again, someone will.
Yeah. And when Scott put that in our graphic for the show, I'm like, who is that? But Scott knows. It's fine.
Well, it was just, I'm a
reference
big
to
fan
that tweet
of our
tweet. Dang, I can't talk today.
Yeah.
So I think the next one was so here's what's happening in Israel. Israelis can't leave the country. They have shut their borders because people would flee like crazy because they know what's coming. They're not that stupid. They've been complicit with murdering Gazans. And by the way, look what's not in the headlines anymore. That's still going on, It
is. It absolutely is.
So this is from Haaretz, and sorry about the ads if you see an ad. So we do not support any of these ads. Yeah. But they've shut their borders and people are having to sneak out because people would leave in droves right now. They absolutely would. Look at the ad bullshit.
I know. I'm sorry.
No, I know. It's not your fault. It's
Israel tells airlines not to let Israeli citizens leave, even once repatriation flights start. The Israeli government has instructed domestic airlines not to allow citizens to leave the country on planes designated for the repatriation of Israel's stranded abroad. This decision stems from the security officials' concern about overcrowding. Oh, yeah, right. That's the concern about overcrowding at Ben Gurion Airport. Yeah, I don't think so. It's human shields. And it's also, I mean, it really emphasizes what Israel is about. So they made a fake country and they need people to stay in it when a large percentage of those people have other places that they can be. A lot of the times these are second homes for people.
Oh yeah.
The settlers.
Yeah.
You know, there was a meme where somebody was crying about that their home got bombed and they were like, well, you can just go steal another one. I mean, that's what you do. So yeah, I mean, I know, crude and hateful, but again, World War Glee, we're just, it's maybe not right, but we're just a little happy right now. We're a little overjoyed that the country that's been committing a horrific genocide that has made, I mean, it's just so indescribable, is getting just a little taste of their own medicine.
Yeah. Yep. Kalia, you can be more right. You know, we're about to talk about that. The rich are getting on yachts to leave.
Right. We have that coming up too. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know. It's the hypocrisy. I don't know why they don't understand. This is what you've been doing to others. Like, I don't know why. Like, what kind of cognitive dissonance is going on in your brain that you don't see that you're getting a tiny sliver of what you've been doing to the world, and you know, especially Gaza. It just boggles the mind. So, you know, Israelis escaped to Cyprus by boat. Huh. Well, it looks like they're Hasidic Jews because the way they're dressed, and they don't want to fight.
Well, yes, that is true. I mean, in America, certainly, some of the Hasidic Jews have been the most strongly opponents of the genocide. So props to them. According to a new report from Haaretz News, Israeli citizens are trying to purchase tickets in order to travel via boat to Cyprus. This comes as Israel has closed its borders and is preventing its people from traveling abroad. So, yeah.
So they're in lockdown mode.
And the thing is, that's, you know, the country will fall apart because the people can leave so easily because a lot of them have other places to go. So
and most of them are not from there originally. Their families aren't from there. I mean, I think Netanyahu is like Polish or something.
Yeah, and his family changed their name, and I think all of the leaders in Israel, almost all of them, they did name changes. No, it might have been their parents. It might have been their parents, and not all of them. Yeah, they did it, but yeah.
Yep. So this may seem like a departure, but I don't think it is. Abby Martin went on Lead Camp the other day, and she was phenomenal. And if I would have had more time on the show, we could do the show for 4 hours if we wanted. She's got a film that they're in post-production, trying to get it out to the public right now, called The Earth's Greatest Enemy. Yeah, and I don't think it's who y'all think it is. So we'll let her tell us. Huh, that looks familiar.
Where we're heading is extremely grim. So we have to brace ourselves for what's coming.
There are still many secrets.
The water on the base was contaminated, hence all the dead babies. Oh, shit.
These toxic chemicals are in the blood of my people.
They have littered our land with bombs.
Fire in the hole! We used to have a lot of animals. Just keep quiet. Do you hear a bird?
The United States military is the #1 polluter in the world.
I have not authorized this.
The military is untouchable.
Let me take a look at the video.
They consider themselves above the law.
They're filming us.
The military being the single largest consumer of fossil fuels on the planet, how can they be given a free pass?
The emissions from the military should be exempt. Do you agree with that?
I want to say thank you to our National Guard.
We must stop this violent death machine if we want to survive on this earth.
The ships, the guns, the planes. This is the greatest assembly of power that the world has ever seen. And we haven't finished yet.
Yeah, wow. And Abby Martin is definitely worth watching. She is Empire Files.
Right.
There's so much to watch, so little time. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been away for a while, I think, working on this film, and now she's back. And yeah, again, it's such a good point, Edie. These are all connected. They're absolutely, all of our issues are connected. And
our government is funding a military that is threatening the very survival of the earth, of the beings on earth, animals and people, all of them.
And as I always watch the weather shows, I'm getting a sense of like the direction of where things are going. And so now I guess it turns out that one of the main things, there are two main things that we seem to be seeing in America for climate change, and that is increase in rain. And so what is happening now is that with the increase in rain, the dangerous places are actually people who have structures and buildings down rivers, next to rivers. They just showed footage this week. I think it was West Virginia. Please, someone correct me if I'm wrong about that. And again, you looked at the footage and you're like, wait a second, was that like a hurricane, a tornado, a bomb? No, that was water flowing. And what's happening is it's such large amounts of water in such a short time that the rivers start coming down and it just wipes things out. So what happened last year with Helene, that's on smaller scales, but that's starting to happen.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's happening.
Oh, I was going to comment on that part, but
go for it.
Yeah. So sometimes I just to like be calm in the morning, I go sit on my back porch, and so I have a little bit of like a little pond on my property. Well, it's set up to go to the creek that runs through the neighborhood, and it rained so hard and so fast one day that I was sitting there on the phone. I'm like, what is that? It was the creek rushing.
Yes.
I'm like, holy crap, that's what that is. And we have our road floods a lot. Like I keep thinking I need to invest in a boat at this point because we might get flooded in. And it has rained so much this spring. I've never seen it rain this much.
And the one in West Virginia that caused massive damage to buildings was called Little Creek. It was something Little Creek. Oh my God. Little Creek is doing this.
Oh, Yvonne's commenting on what you were saying.
Wheeling,
West Virginia, almost destroyed last fall. Chimney Rock, North Carolina, gone from Helene.
Thank you. Yeah, Wheeling, West Virginia. That's where it was. And again, that barely makes the news. I mean, and then the fires, because that's the other side of it is the drought, and then which caused the fires. And I mean, the fires are back. I can't remember what state it is. Maybe you can help me, Yvonne. Where they're burning right now
on in California,
Canada.
Seems to be.
But I think it was Washington State or somewhere. So fires have started again, and they even have said now there's no more fire season. No, it's year round. There is no fire season.
We have pushed nature into chaos.
Yeah.
As our arrogant selves. But back to the bases comment, Brian. Iraq kicked us out of there, and now we have added bases. We have 4 there and 1,000 around the world. We only not acknowledge 800.
Right. I've heard that there are secret bases. Isn't that charming? Yep.
That's terrifying.
Yep.
And Mitsunagi, haven't seen you in a while. Netanyahu attending high school in the U.S. That explains why he can speak English so well.
Yeah.
Good thing Biden put the Green New Deal first and foremost.
Oh yes.
And by the way, he
absolutely.
stole that. Them stole that from us. We wrote that thing. So
and they changed it and corporatized
and they changed
it and made
and
almost useless, right? And then, you know, again, they didn't push it when they had the chance to, right? I mean,
never
Medicare for
do.
all, public option, all these wonderful things that they could have done. But when Biden got into office, the first 2 years when they ran everything, nothing.
Well, somebody literally came up to me yesterday from my community, somebody that my fellow Green knew, but I didn't know her. And she's like, well, Obama tried. I'm like, did he though?
Oh, God.
I said it was public option and then it wasn't. And I said, you know, and then we can go even further. He said he would make codifying Roe v. Wade #1, you know?
Right.
Didn't happen. He could have done all of that. He had a supermajority.
Right. Supermajority.
Supermajority. I call bullshit.
It,
That's what I should start a show. I call bullshit.
Well, and what's sad is that, again, the person that made that comment to you, the propaganda just goes on and on and on. And the stations they're watching push that stuff and they believe it. And it's getting them to leave the propaganda that they are hooked to, whether it's PBS or MSNBC or any of those. It's getting them to realize they're watching propaganda. That's the hard part.
Yeah, and you know, otherwise this very seemingly nice lady used to be Green Party, kind of, you know, stepped back a little for whatever reason. She's well traveled. She's been to Nicaragua and she's been to Tehran, like, so she knows other things, but she still believes in the dim line of we tried, you know. We can move on. So the next thing we're going to talk about is this is a National Guardsman that is on duty in California, and explaining about why the 29-day deployment is the reason for it is to deny health care, and he's going to tell you all about it.
This morning, so I finally get a chance to catch up on the news. There's been another ruling on the situation with the National Guard, but come to find out that I got friends all over here. Military friend called me. Trump put them on 29-day orders, and you may say, probably won't take 29 days to get this out the way. Why did he put them on 29-day orders? Well, in working around the unit as a unit administrator and with unit administrators, and being somebody who was caught up during ice storms and so on and deployments and stuff, when you put the National Guard soldiers on 29-day orders, you do not have to pay them BAH type 1. I mean, if anybody cared about troops and actually understood how this works and was a truth, I would be highly upset that you put me on 29-day orders so you could cut me off before the next day, so that way I don't have to get full benefits. I'm gonna read it to you. So, bottom line to it is this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm gonna read you the exact law since you guys who weren't in the National Guard know everything, but that's another story. Let me tell you. All right, so here we go. National Guard members on a single order for fewer than 30 days may have their pay processed through a system like My Unit Pay. They receive BAH Type 2. If an order is extended to a total duration of more than 29 days, the service member may become eligible for BAH Type 1. Now, the bottom line to it is they're going to put them on for 29 days. And if they want them to come back, they're going to fire them on the 30th day, and they're going to bring them back on the 31st day. So they're going to stack the orders. And the bottom line to it is when you own for less than this, you just don't receive the benefits that you're supposed to receive while being on active duty, even though these people are pulled away from their jobs and they're pulled away from their life. They're pulled away from their kids' soccer games. They're pulled away from everything that they got to do in their own personal life to be on orders, only to not receive BAH Type 1.
Yeah, and that's something. I mean, again, it's just, oh God, the way they treat our military and our reservists, and oh my God. And then you see the commercials like championing them, right? And no, our government does not. Our government does not champion them.
It does not.
Horrible.
Yeah. So I mean, they just, and I'd like to give a shout out to Yvonne for sending that to me.
Thank you,
Thank
Yvonne.
you.
That was, I'm so glad I saw that. You know, that's the kind of thing that I would miss. I'm so glad that you shared that with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, you know, one person can't keep up with all of it. Just saying. Yeah. So the next one was the Dodgers thing. Did we
Okay.
have that?
Yeah. I've got it here.
So I'll read a little bit of it. So the LA Dodgers blocked ICE from entering their stadium in Los Angeles. Los Angeles Dodgers on Thursday blocked federal immigration agents from entering their stadium as dozens of ICE protesters gathered outside the venue, the team said. The baseball organization said on social media that federal agents working with immigration and customs enforcement arrived at the stadium Thursday and requested permission to access the parking lots. They were denied entry to the grounds by the organization, the Dodgers said. Their evening game against the San Diego Padres went ahead as scheduled. ICE responded to the Dodgers on social media. False. We were never there.
Yeah, right. No, and I don't know if folks have seen the videos where someone might like take a picture of a license plate of ICE and the guy jumps out and points a gun at them. And there's numerous cases now. I don't know if there's been any shootings yet. Yeah, I mean, these guys, you know, they know the scum that they are and that everyone hates them for what they're doing. They put on the mask to try to hide them. Yeah. But again, I mean, it's extremely dangerous. I mean, I'm good for the brave folks who are trying to track them down, but it can be really dangerous.
Oh, Kahlil is commenting on the previous segment. That's sickening. They can't pass an audit nor pay for their soldiers. Such a shame.
Yeah.
I agree.
Sick.
Well, you know, you can go on Instagram and just watch people getting jerked out of their cars. This one woman, you know, was there legally. She was seeking asylum. She had done everything she was supposed to do. She kept asking the person at her door, at her window. She wouldn't roll down her window because she don't know who they are.
Right.
You know, show me the order. Put it up on the window. She asked them politely. She wasn't aggressive or anything. She was in the car with her daughter. The dude broke her window.
Oh my God.
In her car, and then opened her door, and she had, you know, he was trying to tell her, you know, go out the other way so you don't get cut by glass, and she's like, no, I'm not letting my daughter get out. You know, ordering her around, right?
Yeah.
And then when she had to go through glass to get out of her car, and then they just jerked her and slammed her against the car. And then I saw a guy that was driving a van, delivering something, fighting off like 4 of them. They were just trying to pull him out of his van. He's hanging onto the steering wheel because he knows what's going to happen to him.
I saw a meme somebody posted of 3 occurrences, and they said that there are hundreds of these of people who are claiming to be ICE agents so that they can kidnap people. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just every, you know, street clothes and no, it's just, they've set this all up to make life in America unbearable. I mean, it is affecting everyone. And not that it was okay that it was affecting who it was affecting. But yeah, I mean, using every trick, just regular checkups, grabbing people, you know, for their,
grabbing them
when they
court.
go in. Yeah.
When they go to show up at court.
Yep.
Getting in the way of them defending themselves.
Right.
Yvonne said that Dodgers donated $1 million to support families hurt by deportation.
Oh, okay. Good for them.
People can buy all this gear on Amazon. How do we know who is real? And I also wanted to relate a story which I didn't personally witness, but my friend Yvonne said that tow truck companies are waiting for ICE to park, and because they don't have identification on their vehicle, they're towing them away.
Oh, nice. Oh, nice. I love that. Oh, fighting back in little sweet ways. I love it. Oh my God.
It's just, you know, we've had it, and people are getting very creative about how they do it. Brian, of course, spot on as usual. It's a perverse world. Bread and circuses is more than ICE. It's more important than ICE.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I can't understand people's levels of willingness to be distracted. I I'm very surprised, you know, and a friend of mine was really critical of folks who have never posted on social media about Gaza or Palestine. Never. It's like, how is it that you can just sit back and again, for any of these issues, I mean, we'll see about our you know, we could be days away from bombing Iran. So
and with Netanyahu in Trump's ear, you never know how we're gonna respond.
Oh my God!
I mean, it could be World War III in no time at all.
And to lose Tulsi, you know, to the dark side, it's things are looking bad. Things are really looking bad.
Yeah. So it is our responsibility to make it stop, and the only way we do that is by joining forces with. That's why I like that Richard Medhurst video. I'm going to try to watch it later today. The rest of it.
It is excellent.
He was commenting on the people everywhere that know this is wrong.
Yeah.
But I did want to say, you know, Brian thinks his view may not be popular, but you know, Green Party welcomes all kinds of viewpoints. As long as, you know, you're not picking on a group of people, it's fine. The military has not been used for good forever. Cannot support our dupes. They are there mostly believing the lie of healthcare and a paying socialistic job. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
since basically World War II, we haven't declared war on anyone. That's Congress's fault.
You know, it's so hard. I know, like I watch Nick Cruz, and he can just be really angry at the folks who sign up and, you know, say there's no excuse. And you can't speak to somebody else's life. I mean, you know, it's just there are such financial pressures. Again, I can't understand how people survived capitalism. I feel like was of an age where we kind of could slide through. And I felt like, you know, now things have gotten worse, let's say, since the 70s. They say that maybe the 50s or 60s was the high point of America's economy because we could exploit all these countries around the world successfully. And that was the actual reason, but it's been in decline ever since. And like, I feel like I'm in the age where I kind of slid my way through. I can't imagine anybody today. How on earth can they even survive? Yeah. I can't figure out how people pay a rent each month. The amount you have to put out in rent, the amount of cost for food, how do people make it? Yeah. I don't know. But obviously people are struggling to the point that, you know, that violence ensues.
Sabby was saying that I was looking back through some of our older shows. 60% of people cannot survive on what they make. They're just like hanging on by this much.
Right.
But I would comment on Brian's take, you know, the use of our military, you know, and there's a lot of soldiers that like we covered this last week, the conscientious objector line is like on fire right now. They're just blowing it up because they were lied to. They go into our high schools, get people before they are fully an adult to know how the world is. They are straight out of high school and can lie to them about what they're going to get, convince them that it's going to be, you know, this glorious thing. And then once you sign up, you belong to the government and they can do whatever they want with you.
And think about Hollywood. I mean, the history of Hollywood and how, I mean, the propaganda, and they do say that like our government and CIA fully controls Hollywood. All scripts have to go through. I mean, it's a complete takeover. And look at the content of all those action films that all the guys love, right? Think about who's the enemy in those films, who are the heroes. It's completely twisted and backwards, and they don't tell you the real story ever in any of those. And that's what people grow up with, you know. Like we talk about how Israeli citizens have been propagandized their entire lives. We've also been propagandized our entire lives. I mean, people still think, like I'll talk to some friends who are Democrats and I'll say, you do know who the most evil country is on this planet, right? And they're like, no, you know, I say the US.
They'll make guesses. It won't be us.
Right? Like they just think I'm out to lunch. They don't get it. They think the US are the good guys. I swear to God, they do. They think the US are the good guys. They think Russia's the evil one. I mean,
Well, Russia has its issues. I'm not going to lie, but they're their own country.
But again, I would say most of the conflicts that they've been coming across, we instigate.
Absolutely.
And now we might instigate, under the radars, and so it becomes an argument. But all the color revolutions, all the funding of, now how many years did it take? Well, not all Americans know this still, but how many years did it take for people to realize that the war on terror, those terrorists, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, we funded them. We created them. We gave them all
and
that
we're
equipment.
doing it again.
No, constantly. That has not stopped. It has not stopped.
Was it Syria where they took
Absolutely.
over? And now they've been taken off the sanctions list.
Right. And the head of Syria is from Al-Qaeda. He's directly from, and I think, and ISIS. He did dual membership.
So just a reminder to our audience.
Oh my God.
Al-Qaeda was the ones that did 9/11. So
I think there's footage. I think there's footage of the president. Is that the term of Syria? I mean, he's
leader, whatever.
The leader. I mean, whatever, of him chopping people's heads off. I mean, it's it's not even there. No, our country had like $1 million bounty on him up until they put him in as president, and it was still there. And they're like, oh, I guess we should kind of get rid of that, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I want to get to some more comments.
Okay.
Brian, all those police and new war movies are mostly CIA sponsored. The CIA is embedded in mainstream media.
Yep.
Hannity even wears a pin. Cooper Basher CIA.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And the CIA embedded again. Why don't people pay attention? MSNBC, I'd say the vast majority of their guests who come in and make commentary are like CIA affiliated or recent past CIA, and they just treat them like they're the regular commentators, that they should take their comments seriously. It's astounding. It's astounding.
I got two more I want to put up before we get to our last piece. I know we're about at time.
Okay.
There's one more. I think you got it up there, but yeah, Brian, all those. Oh, I did that one already. Sorry.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is the one I want. 18% of us per year are becoming homeless.
Yeah. Yep.
Our cities have turned into jungles, and corruption is strangling the land. The police force is watching the people. I don't know what the Steppenwolf reference is about, but that's kind of cool. And Kahlil says World War III started on October 7th, 2023. Gaza cannot be forgotten.
Yeah, that's an interesting take.
So I tried my best to get all the comments up, but we're going to do our last segment and then call it.
Okay.
An hour and a half is plenty of time.
What the last segment is, because I don't have anything else.
You don't?
What do you have?
Well, I'll just read it. It was the Carmen Miranda thing.
Oh, I don't think I ever got that. Sorry.
Okay. Well, I can just read it. So this is related to the Democrats. And I'm not sure where you got it. It looks like a Facebook post.
Oh, maybe I do have something. No.
Yes, President Biden and the Democrats have supported and funded U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, during this administration. So I guess it's a little older. Key points: increased funding. The fiscal year 2024 spending bill signed by President Biden provided $3.4 billion for ICE, enabling the agency to detain an average of 41,500 immigrants per day. Shift from earlier goals, this represents a significant shift from the Biden administration's initial goals to reduce the use of ICE detention. Emergency funding requests. The administration has also requested supplemental funding for ICE, including another $2.5 billion in emergency funding in October 2023. How convenient. Partly to address migration surges and increase in detention capacity.
So I think that's part of the propaganda, is what is not spoken of on mainstream media. So this was probably some independent article that was talking about the corruption of the Biden administration. So it didn't get covered on MSNBC or CNN.
Yeah.
It was not covered.
I got a little more.
Go ahead.
Here, but So this part is about the expansion of detention. The requested funding aims to increase ICE detention capacity to 46,000, which could be the highest level ever funded by Congress under Biden, Democrats. Controversy. This increase in funding and expansion of detention has drawn criticism from human rights groups and NGOs who oppose the expansion of immigration detention system. Democrat stance. While some progressive Democrats express concerns about the funding levels and tactics, centrist Democrats like Representative Henry Seller have stated that they would not support reducing ICE funding. It's important to note that discussions about ICE funding and policy are ongoing within the Democratic Party and Congress.
And so it's also important to note that the progressive expressed concern, but isn't that a surprise that it went through anyway? Isn't that a surprise? So that's what they do. The progressives express concern.
Oh,
yeah.
Like Joni Ernst. Oh my goodness, everybody's gonna die anyway. What's the big deal? We want to end on a positive note.
Oh, yes.
Forgot about this one. Jewish Voice for Peace. Mahmoud Kahlil is free. May his release lead to release of all who are detained and incarcerated from the U.S. to Palestine in ICE facilities and in prisons. And may his courage inspire us to remain steadfast in fighting for Palestinian liberation.
Yeah, so thankfully our courts are at least, doing some fighting, which is great. Unlike our Congress, which is doing nothing, almost nothing.
So that's why I want to fire them all and we need to start over.
Yeah, please. Let's call for the resignation of all politicians in the federal government and have new elections.
Wow. Yeah. I was going to say, all United Airlines people quit and sued, yet we did not hear about that. I guess we're talking about 9/11. The fifth plane had 7 terrorists on board and got delayed and did not take off. Terrorists got away.
We need to do a segment on that. That's I still think that 7th building is
America the Monster by Steppenwolf. I've never heard that. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway. Do you have anything else, Scott?
I think that's it. But I think, like I said, I would recommend folks go over and check out the Richard Bedhurst video. It's good to see him back. He has been, incredibly harassed. Well, way more than harassed. He may end up going to jail. I think 2 different countries have arrested him again for his pro-Palestinian journalism is basically what they're arresting him for. Yep. So his future is really, really not known, and good for him. He's a brave man. He's back doing reports, and yeah, I would highly recommend that one because it shows a lot of the footage, and it seems like that we need to get some coverage of what goes on because we just get propaganda from mainstream. So it's good to get a balance. And in this video, he really tries to just put out the facts. He goes, okay, I'm not being biased here. Of course, he has a bias towards,
truth.
Yeah, towards truth. Yeah, but he's just.
I'm extremely biased. I like truth.
But he wants to just point out what's happening in a day-to-day, because what's that quote that I misquoted last time, that the first thing to, I say die, but that's not correct. The first thing to die in a war
casualty of war is truth.
Casualty of war is truth. Thank you very much for that one.
Yeah. I just remember really quick.
Thank you.
You never know what's in here.
Yeah. There you go. But thanks everyone for coming and checking us out, and thanks for everyone who puts in comments. We really appreciate that, that you're joining the conversation. And as you can tell, a lot of things we're forgetting the names and forgetting the titles.
The onslaught of information is at like hypersonic speed. It's so hard to keep up with what's happening. It's not like it used to be because everything is out in the open now.
I'm obsessed with checking out Twitter. What's going on over there? As much as people hate the Twitter world in terms of, Elon Musk, that's still where I'm getting. Oh, thanks, Kalia. Yeah, that's still where I'm getting my information. It is.
And go check out Kalia on TikTok, 5:00 Central Time on Sundays for Green Party Tea.
Yes.
I'm so sorry we haven't been able to make it. It's been protest and doing this and doing that. Like I think last Sunday, Scott and I were on the phone trying to put out a fire, basically.
And then tomorrow I got a performance. I have performances Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So it's super packed weekend for me.
Yeah.
And then next Sunday's the Pride. Kahlil, we're gonna be away for a couple weeks. But thank you for doing that show. It's a great show, folks. Really check it out on TikTok. It's really cool. Love it.
Yep. And I'm gonna be posting our next guest, which I don't have in front of me right now because I'm kind of living in the moment at this point in time. So.
But please check us out. Wednesdays, we have a guest every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time.
And yay Pride. Yeah.
Yay,
and our audience continues to increase even though we have stopped asking people, which is amazing.
Yes,
Last time I looked, it was at 514. We gained 14 more in a week without even talking about it.
Thanks everybody.
So please
for
like, subscribe,
subscribing.
share. Join your local Green Party. If you can't volunteer, donate. Spread the word. We have the solutions that are needed. We just need to get them into, service of the people.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks so much, everybody.
All right. Now. Take care. Bye.
An uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising, we're rising up. It's an uprising. Fight the power. It's an uprising. Fight the power.